Yes, what's probably the most beautiful car AMC ever made was never released. It's also one of the most obscure, with a lot of conflicting information surrounding it, making it surprisingly difficult to piece together the full story. We're talking about the AMX2 and its updated version, the AMX3, a project that even involved BMW. And this is how it all came together. Back in the early to mid-1960s, AMC had a problem. The company was losing market share and its cars were seen as sensible, but not exciting. The kind of cars you buy when you want reliability, not when you want something that makes you turn around and look at it twice. So in 1967, a new leadership team came in with a different mindset. Roy Chapin Jr., William von Lundberg, and Gerald Myers decided to push AMC in a new direction. Myers, in particular, had a wild idea. He wanted a mid-engined sports car, not just another muscle car, but something that could shift the brand's image entirely. This push didn't come out of nowhere. Racing success at the time, especially cars like the Ford GT40, showed how powerful performance could be for marketing. Even General Motors had explored similar ideas with concept cars. AMC wanted in, and Dick Teague, the company's head of design, was given the chance to make it happen. Teague and his team, including Bob Nixon and several other designers, got to work. Their first result was the AMX2. Now, calling it a car might be a bit generous. It was a fiberglass pushmobile, no engine, no steering, no proper interior, basically a full-scale model that looked ready to go fast but wasn't going anywhere under its own power. Still, that didn't matter. The AMX2 did exactly what it needed to do. It went on tour at auto shows in 1969 and showed AMC management something they hadn't seen before, a mid-engine sports car that actually looked believable. The design featured bold ideas, including a twin theme with dual movable spoilers and a layout that planned for a mid-mounted engine. That was enough to convince American Motors Corporation to move forward. But before anything got built for real, there was one more step. A design competition. AMC wanted to take things seriously, so they didn't just rely on their in-house team. They brought in one of the biggest names in automotive design at the time, Giorgetto Giugiaro. At this point, Giugiaro had already built a reputation and had just co-founded It'll Design. So now you had a competition between AMC's own design team, led by Dick Teague, and one of the most respected designers in the industry. Teague's team responded with an evolved version of their concept, the AMX3. The full design team included names like Bob Nixon, Jack Kennitz, Eric Kugler, Dick Jones, and Gary Guichard, along with clay modelers shaping the physical form. Meanwhile, Giugiaro submitted his proposal, and it didn't go well. His design arrived as a rough styrofoam model and was seen as unfinished compared to AMC's fully developed fiberglass mock-up. To be fair, Giugiaro was working on multiple major projects at the time. Still, in this case, the result was clear. AMC's design won. But interestingly, Giugiaro and Ital Design didn't disappear from the project. They just moved into a different role. Now came the hard part. AMC had never built a mid-engine car before, so instead of trying to figure it all out alone, they brought in outside experts. Giotto Bizzarini was one of them. This is someone who had worked with Ferrari, Lamborghini, Alfa Romeo, and ISO. He knew high-performance cars inside and out. AMC brought him in to handle chassis and suspension development. At the same time, It'll Design got involved in engineering and structural development, even if that part wasn't widely publicized. Salvatore Diamante, who had experience working with Bizzarini, handled the construction of the prototypes through his company. And then there was BMW. AMC initially wanted BMW to take on the engineering work, but they declined. Not enough resources. Still, the relationship continued. Instead of building the car, BMW agreed to test it. Internally, they called it Project E18. In 1969, the first prototype was sent to BMW for testing, and the results were not great. The chassis was too flexible. Under stress, parts of the frame would bend enough to affect suspension geometry. Welds were weak, some components failed during testing, so yes, the car looked the part, but it wasn't ready. BMW upgraded the braking system, replacing the original Girling setup with stronger ATE components, larger master cylinder, improved calipers, and ventilated discs. They worked on the clutch system, improving performance with different hydraulic components. They even contributed to parts of the exhaust system, and after those changes, things improved a lot. The second prototype showed significantly better stiffness. Testing showed about 50% higher torsional rigidity compared to a Mercedes-Benz benchmark model. That's a serious improvement. Under the body, the AMX3 used AMC's 390 cubic inch V8, 340 horsepower, and 430 pound-feet of torque, mounted right behind the seats. Power went through a 4-speed transaxle from Otto Melara, with one car even receiving a 5-speed ZF gearbox. Suspension was fully independent on all 4 wheels, with double wishbones and coil springs. At first, performance didn't quite hit expectations. The target was a top speed of at least 160 miles per hour. Early tests reached around 145 miles per hour, partly from aerodynamic lift at the front, so changes were made. Different front spoilers were tested, and once those were dialed in, the car reached around 170 miles per hour at Monza. It even matched lap times of earlier high-performance cars designed by Bizzarini. Visually, the AMX3 stood out immediately. Low height, just about 3 feet 7 inches, wide stance, nearly 6 feet 4 inches across. The design featured pronounced fender shapes and a strong sweep over the rear wheels. The front had a pointed, almost arrow-like shape, with flip-up headlights integrated into the fenders. Cooling openings were built into the hood, and some versions added extra air intakes during development. At the rear, a large tailgate opened to access the engine, supported by gas struts. Some prototypes even included elements like a rear wing, though not all of them were functional. Over time, the design evolved. The rear overhang was slightly extended. The side windows became one piece. The hood was adjusted to cover the wipers. Even the taillights changed, with some cars using parts from other vehicles, including Fiat and Pontiac. By 1970, the car was ready to be shown. It was unveiled to the Italian press in Rome on March 23, 1970. Then it appeared in New York, including the New York Auto Show, and, right next to it, the De Tomaso Pantera. They were stepping directly into competition with a Ford-backed project. The timing wasn't random. Both cars were aiming at the same market, and for a moment, AMC looked like it belonged there. The company had plans. Production was supposed to happen in Germany, handled by Karmann. Early projections suggested up to 1,000 cars per year, with some estimates going even higher. The target price started around $10,000 to $12,000, which would be roughly $85,000 to $102,000 today. That would have placed it right in the mix with other performance cars, but reality started catching up. Costs increased. The price moved well above the original target. New safety regulations meant more redesign work, and for a smaller company like AMC, this was too much. After investing around $2 million, AMC canceled the project. No big explanation, just done. By the time the project ended, only a handful of AMX3s had been built. Most sources point to 6 original cars, each with its own history. The early prototypes were used for testing. The Monza test car became known for reaching around 170 miles per hour. Another car was used for press photos in front of the Coliseum. Some cars stayed with AMC, others were sold. Over time, ownership changed, restorations happened, and values increased. One example sold for $891,000 in 2017. After AMC walked away, there were attempts to continue the project. Bizzarini explored producing the car under a new name, the Sciabola. At one point, there were even discussions about building a small number of cars, but nothing came from it. Later, one chassis was used for the Iso Veredo concept car. And years later, companies and designers tried to bring the AMX3 back in different forms, including replica projects and concept designs inspired by the original. None of them reached production. Even though it never made it to production, the AMX3 left a mark. Design elements carried over into later AMC models, especially in the shape of the rear fenders, and over time the car gained recognition. Many people, including Dick Teague, saw it as one of the best designs AMC ever created. Giotto Bizzarini even considered it one of his best works, which says a lot considering his background. So here's the real question. Was the AMX 3 too ambitious for AMC, or was it exactly the kind of risk the company needed? It brought together American power, European engineering, and some of the biggest names in automotive design. It pushed AMC further than it had ever gone before. So if you want, you can share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the AMX 3 could have worked if it actually made it to production, or was it always heading toward this outcome? The information in this video was gathered from the sources shown on screen. As always, you can find the sources in the Google Doc linked in the description. I recommend checking them out for more details. If you enjoyed this video, there are a couple more AMC videos on screen you might like. One looks at some of the rarest AMC cars that never made it to production, and the other covers a pretty unusual project called the AM van. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.